We're sisters, best friends, and authors on a mission to help you stoke your creative fire and live the life of your dreams. We believe that purpose fuels passion and that creativity is your secret weapon for mass construction. There's never been a better time to bless the world with your dream realized. You're listening to The Kate and Abby Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Kate and Abby Show. Today is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about how you can take an effective and fun writing retreat at home. So a lot of you guys, perhaps in the past, have taken a writing retreat or gone to some sort of writing gathering where you go to a conference and you stay at a hotel or something and you get together and talk about writing and you work on your book. Well, now we're going to talk about how can we do something just as effective, perhaps even more so from our own homes that we'll enjoy just as much. That will be something we can look forward to and get excited about. This is something that I think is a really relevant topic for us right now because we're both pretty deep into working on book projects.
Yeah, we've been both working on a couple different projects, but mostly the co-write project that we are doing together,
right?
Which has been really fun, a new adventure.
Yeah,
for sure. It's cool because it's been a long time since we've written anything together. The last time we did that, we were like really young,
very young.
So our process has definitely improved, and
for sure, that's been really fun. And you're also working on formatting and getting a surprise thing ready for later. Mm-hmm. And I've been working on getting ready to publish. If you guys are watching on the video version, you'll see my book pop up on the screen right now. I'm holding up a copy of Searching for Sparrow, which is the first book in a duology I'll be releasing over the next year. So this is coming out October 5th. And I'm actually hosting a giveaway for signed copies of every single one of my books right now over on my Instagram. So if you have a second, I'll link that below in the comments on the YouTube version of this podcast you're listening to. If you're listening to it on another platform, my YouTube is youtube.com/KAEmmons. You'll see the link in the video. Go join the giveaway because I'm giving away all the copies of my book signed with a book bag, a dark academia journal, some really cool gems and different fun mystical goodies. So I'm really excited about it. The giveaway runs until the release of Sparrow. So go join the giveaway. Plus, I am always posting really inspiring writing related things on my Instagram. I think you guys will enjoy. And go follow Abby because she has some really exciting stuff coming up with her own writing projects. I won't say too much about that because I don't think you've really said much, right? Yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
I haven't made the official announcement yet, but that's coming. That's going to come
Get excited.
September. I'm going to be making a exciting announcement about a new book.
I'm
so
stoked.
Yeah,
it's going to be cool.
It's something I've been working on, like formatting, cover design. Kate has seen all of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yes, so you guys are going to love it. I'm very excited for it. It's very cool. But before we get into everything, we want to thank our patrons.
Yes, thank you so much to our amazing patrons who make this show possible. You guys really help us support this show and keep it going, and we so appreciate your support. So if you get value out of this podcast, go to patreon.com/The Kate and Abby Show and help us keep this show alive and free of interruptions. Okay, let's get into the topic. Writing retreats at home, how to have a good one.
Yeah, so I think the biggest wall that a lot of writers hit writing from home is getting interrupted and not knowing, how do I do this in a way that's effective for me, where I'm not getting interrupted every few minutes by, a roommate, a kid, a spouse, etc. And so let's talk about how can we find a way that we can not be disturbed constantly. And for me, I think, and you and I have talked about this a lot, is let people know.
Yeah.
A lot of times people interrupt you because they don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
They see you on a laptop. Oh, they're not doing anything. Hey, can you help me with this? Can you want to go do this?
You're just on your laptop. You're not doing anything. It's like, no, you're doing something very serious. And if you're anything like me and Kate, when you get in the writing zone, it's like part of your brain that socializes and stuff and can handle social interactions. It kind of just like goes to sleep, like a computer going to sleep. And I just like cannot handle social interactions on any
Right.
level when I'm in the midst of writing. So getting interrupted is a big stumbling block to that, because actually scientifically, scientific studies of the brain have shown that it takes you about 25 minutes to refocus after you get interrupted by somebody. So that's a lot of time.
Oh, really? Wow. I
Yeah.
have never heard that before. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's like 23 minutes and 30 seconds or something really precise like that. But it's really quite fascinating before your brain can get back to that focused state
Wow.
after getting interrupted. So that's a lot of time. You know, if you add in like 4 to 5 interruptions throughout your writing day, you're probably losing about 2 hours of really focused attention because you're getting interrupted constantly. So step 1 to not getting interrupted is letting people know that you are on a writing retreat, and take it seriously. And if you take it seriously, they will take it seriously, because hopefully the people you are living with respect your art and respect your career and your writing endeavors.
Right. And I think don't just say it in don't say it like, oh, you know, well, I'm writing right now. Like, really take time to thoughtfully and mindfully let your family members and the people you're living with know why this is important to you. So don't wait until you're being interrupted and be like, hey, listen, I'm writing right now. Please leave me alone. Take time beforehand to say, hey, so this coming week or 2 weeks or month, whatever you decide to do, whatever duration of time this retreat would be for you, say, hey, for this period of time, I'm really going to focus on a writing project that means a lot to me, and it would be very important to me, and it would mean a lot to me if you didn't disturb me unless you absolutely had to, so that I can have time to pursue this project that I'm really excited about. And really, in a heartfelt way, let them know why it means something to you, instead of just being like, well, please don't interrupt, you know, while it's already happening. So try to have that loving, mindful discussion ahead of time so that everyone understands, like, okay, wow, this means a lot to you. We're going to try to do our best to give you the time and space you need. And I think if you're a really scheduled person and you're interrupted by work or your phone going off, things like that, things that are work-oriented, and you're just thinking, how am I going to get away from work long enough to be able to write this? Because maybe you're working a different job, maybe you're an entrepreneur, so you have multiple things going at the same time, you're spinning multiple plates here. Try to schedule, like, I feel like you could speak on this better because you're such a good scheduler, but schedule those things ahead of time so you're getting those done, and you could have that uninterrupted writing time, or plan to do those things after your retreat is completed. Didn't you do something similar for your What's Next retreat?
Yeah, I always do that at the end of the year, and I try to plan, if I want content to go up on my YouTube channel or anywhere else, I try to plan that ahead of time, prepare that ahead of time, and schedule it, and then that way I can have those 2 weeks uninterrupted. Otherwise, it could be postponed. Some of the stuff that you need to get done could be postponed depending on what your work is. If you're self-employed, of course, it's much easier to just decide, I'm going to move this project out to the next month or whatever, and get that done another time so that you can write and live on your own terms. And so that was another thing that I did in June. I did the Write With Me writing retreat, virtual writing retreat on my YouTube channel, which was super fun. I want to make it an annual thing, actually, because it was really fun and we got a lot of writing done. But that was something where I just was feeling creatively dull and like burnt out. And I realized I need a writing retreat from home. And I don't really... It doesn't matter if I wait a month to, continue making videos. And instead I did live streams. So it was like, I kind of had to get creative for a way to continue working, but also make time for writing. But I think there are a lot of ways, depending on what you do all the time. There are a lot of different ways to get creative and find that space in your schedule.
Right. And I think prioritizing your writing appropriately, and if writing isn't the number one thing in your life, because it can't be. There are other obligations you have that have to come before writing. Maybe this retreat will be the time where you make writing the number one priority for just a short window of time that you know you'll be able to accomplish a lot in. So I think a lot of writers can sometimes feel like they need to postpone beginning their writing career, beginning that project they've always been wanting to start, until they can dedicate themselves to writing 100% of the time and make it their top priority always. But really, you only need maybe a month of making it the top number one priority. You don't need to make it number one all the time. So you can use the retreat as, hey, for this period of time, I'm going to really emphasize this in my life so I can get this project going, or finish a project, or do something you've wanted to do with your writing career. You don't have to wait until 100% of my life has to be dedicated to that, because chances are you'll be waiting around for a very long time to get started.
Yeah, very true.
Second on the list is, I think, finding a good spot to write can be a big hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, that's something that I think is a big stumbling block that gets in our way without us even realizing it. Because if you go to write and you have told everybody that you're going to write, and they're like, yeah, okay, we understand that, we respect that, and then you choose to write in the busiest location of your home, like your living room or your kitchen or your dining room or something like that, expect to be interrupted still inadvertently by noises and people coming through the room and distractions. You want to go to a distraction-free zone, or as distraction-free as you can possibly get. And I think that takes some intention and planning ahead of time to figure out, what is a space that would feel creative and peaceful to me.
Right.
And it might be somewhere that you least expect. Maybe you can make a cozy writing nook out of a closet that you don't use very much. I know that sounds like kind of weird, but it could actually be a cozy writing nook. Like if you put some playing creativity
we
into
had
it,
someone
put a desk in there, some fairy lights.
The writing group that we had going on Facebook, it's still there. But it was a while ago that I saw this. One of the writers had posted in there like, oh, here's my writing nook, and it was inside of like a walk-in closet, and it was so cute.
That's so cool.
I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And it was totally enough space for one person to hang out. It was like a very cozy little nook. I'm like, wow, that's cool. And she was a busy mom, and she's like, oh, my kids know they don't come in my closet. I'm like, that's really cool. So
great.
You can kind of get creative with it, like you're saying. It doesn't have to be something super conventional. Another thing to remember too is, if you're thinking to yourself, I virtually don't have any extra space, you can temporarily use spaces. So if during the day, a bedroom or a guest room or, a basement area isn't being used, you can say, hey, from 2:00 in the afternoon till 6:00 at night, I would like this to be my writing sanctuary, if you guys could not disturb me while I'm in there. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be, this is my permanent. It doesn't even have to be a permanent writing space. It can be, hey, from this hour to this hour, I would like for this space here to be my writing sanctuary.
Yeah. And even if you have to remind people, put a little sign on the door that says, do not disturb. This is my writing time.
Right.
Or when this sign is on the door, don't come in this room. And people can always wait to talk to you, or they can leave you a little sticky note on your door or under your door. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's
slide a little note under the door. I need to talk to you later about this.
Right.
But it usually doesn't have to happen right now unless it's an emergency.
Right.
So unless it's an emergency, let me have my space.
Exactly.
And don't be afraid to tell people that and ask people for that, because these are your closest people. They should respect what you do, and they probably already do.
Exactly. Yeah. Most things can wait.
Yeah.
And that leads us into our next point, which is making sure you're not disturbing and interrupting yourself. So a lot of us, I think we both can say we're culprits of this, is getting distracted on things that you're like, how did I end up here a half an hour later on YouTube tutorials about how to make a wreath or something, or a vacation somewhere, and you're like, How did I end up here? I can't even remember what I came on the internet for. I've done that so many times when I'm like, oh, I need quote unquote, I need to go research this right now for this thing I'm writing. Really, I can wait. You could just leave a fill in the blank, but no, okay, I need an excuse to go on the internet. So you end up on YouTube and you're like, what was I even going to look up?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I will say I've weeded this out of my life a lot. I would say I'm 80% good about it. The other percentage of the time, I'm like, I still get distracted sometimes because none of us are perfect. But I think we can gently remind ourselves, hey, does this have to be done right now, or can it wait until later? And most of the time it can. And be wise about how you're using tools. Like if you use Pinterest boards to get inspired, then make sure that you don't go, down the Pinterest rabbit hole. You're just, okay, what do I need to get started on writing?
Yeah.
And don't get distracted.
Yeah.
And
also using app limiters is really helpful for that.
Yeah. See, I don't ever have my phone on. So what do you do for that?
I mean like on the computer.
Oh, on the computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like with Mac anyway, I use this quite a bit. There's like a time limit app in there that you can select what apps you want to work and then which ones you want to shut off for a certain amount of time.
Oh, that's cool.
I think a lot of people use it for like nighttime, like, okay, work is done, shut the apps off at 5 p.m. or whatever, but I use it for like the writing time window. So I'll have it be that only Spotify and Scrivener work.
That's
like
cool.
Google Chrome, you click on it and it's like, or any internet browser, you click on it and it's like, oh, the time limit has run out on this, so you can't use it. Or if you want to use it, you can like unlock it for 1 minute and do your research really quickly, and then it shuts off again.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it is really helpful, and it's like kind of that buffer that like stops you, like, wait, do you really need to look this up right now? Probably not.
Exactly.
So many times I stop myself, like a thought will pop into my head and I'm like, oh, I want to look that up, and then I go to the internet, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
I'm getting distracted, I don't need to look this up.
Yes.
And then I go back.
Right. So I think really narrow down, what is it that inspires me? If you need to have some sort of soundtrack going, or if you like to have some inspiring image boards up for yourself, then get those things ready. But really be honest with yourself about, I'm only going to do those few things and then I'm going to get into writing. Don't let yourself go down the path of getting distracted, and then your valuable time starts getting whittled away, and pretty soon half your writing time's gone and you feel disappointed. And we never feel good about our practice afterwards when we let it kind of just go off into the oblivion of the internet. And I think that comes down to respecting our time and our creativity. Because when we respect our time, we tend to get distracted far less, because we're respecting our time, we're respecting our art, we're saying, nope, this is my sacred space to create, and I'm going to keep it for just creating what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah, 100%. And I always think I've said this probably multiple times on the podcast, but I always think of something I read in a book once, and I can't remember what book it was, but thinking about your favorite piece of art, whether it is a song or a book or whatever, and imagining the person who created that getting distracted and not finishing what they started, or thinking that, oh, this isn't very good, but especially getting distracted. And if you were watching that artist create the thing that you love so much and you saw them getting distracted, you would be like screaming at them to not get distracted. Yes. Because you're making something incredible. And that's how we need to see ourselves and our own writing process, is that you're making something incredible. So like, respect that.
Yes.
If not for your own sake, then for the sake of all the people who are going to fall in love with it later on. You know, like, you don't know what kind of impact you're going to have on other people with what you create. And that is sacred.
Exactly. And another thing to think of too is, if you're making writing your career and you also see the practical side of, perhaps you want to eventually leave the job you're currently working at and merge over into having a writing career, respect that, hey, you know, if I was working for someone else right now, I wouldn't be getting distracted. I would be doing that job for them because that's what I'm getting paid to do. well, hey, this is you working for yourself, you're your own boss. And so respect, hey, I'm going to give myself the full attention I need so that eventually I'm working for me and this is going to be a viable source of income for me. And that is so true. And it's something that a lot of us don't think of as artists because not all of us, but I know as a creative myself, I don't think about business very often, but it is important to remember, hey, respect that you're working for yourself right now. And if you were working for someone else, you would respect their time. So respect yours just as much.
Yeah. That's a great point.
It's important.
Be a good boss to yourself.
Yeah, be a good boss to yourself because that is important. It's a beautiful thing to be able to earn an income from something you love, and it's totally possible if you respect that area of it. It's all good. It's all good things to remember and to respect. Another thing that I think can be a huge distraction is just necessary everyday things you have to do in your day-to-day life, like make meals, do cleaning, stuff like that. So organize your daily tasks so that you can either do them ahead of time, do them after your retreat, or do them at a certain time of day when you're not writing. And one of those for me would be meal prepping. And I think you can get creative and have a little fun with this because if you went on an actual writing retreat, let's say to some sort of writing conference or something, you'd probably be eating out, trying new foods, or maybe having your favorite foods, having tea and scones in the afternoon while you wrote. Why don't you plan some of those things ahead and actually make them and enhance your experience? So when you go to write, maybe you have your favorite treat ready for you and you're going to have, just little things like that can really add to the experience. Like, I'm going to make myself a really good cup of tea or a latte that I love. Yeah. Recreate your favorite latte from a coffee shop you enjoy going to. Yeah. And make it for yourself at home. Make it something special.
Yeah, there's so much to be said for romanticizing your life and your daily experiences and making them just something special for yourself. I found that this is something that I've been doing lately it's a very simple thing, but it actually brings me so much joy, which is to drink tea out of a really pretty little cup.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because we have I have this collection of really beautiful teacups that my grandmother gave me. And it changes your whole mindset almost to be drinking tea out of some really special, pretty cup than just oh yeah, this is the mug I always use.
Yeah. So do something different to make it a unique experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it feels fun. Different all of a sudden. You're yeah, I just feel like I'm so much more in the writing mood. I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah, it is. Well, the other day when I was filming a video, which I recommend you guys go check out after listening to this because it's about a little bit about writing space related things. It's about why I sit on the floor while I'm writing, which is a whole other topic, but there's some good tidbits in there about creating a fun writing space. But as I was filming the video, my desk was a little bit messy. So I was tidying up. I lit a candle. I really made it look nice because of course I was filming. Yeah. But I'm wow, this feels really good to freshen up this space, which I do normally make it look very tidy for myself. But just adding those few extra things, like setting up some really pretty crystals that inspire me and give me good energy, lighting a candle, bringing some eucalyptus into the room, some dried eucalyptus, and it smelled really beautiful. And I'm wow, I want to sit down and write. Because just adding those few extra things just made it so cozy and comforting that all my creative neurons are firing oh, we want to sit down and write now with a nice cup of coffee or something.
Yeah, and it's all really a form of self-care, I think.
Yeah, it is.
To do those special things for yourself rather than just barely awake, get my cup of coffee, sit down somewhere, I don't care, anywhere with my laptop and try to write. It's that feels so much more forced.
Yes.
And just not creatively inspiring.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take the time to do just a few little things that will set you up for success, I think that's worth it.
Right, exactly. And prepare things ahead of time so that you can do that with minimal effort. So if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to want to eat, this type of food and it takes this much time to prepare, choose 1 or 2 days ahead of your retreat and prepare a bunch of those meals in containers so that you can just heat it up, sit down with your favorite food or your favorite meal, your favorite treat, and start writing. So I think there's a lot to be said for preparing those things ahead of time so they're all set and ready for you to go.
Yeah. I actually have a video on my channel that is called How to Write Faster First Drafts or something like that. And in that video, I talk about a little bit about meal prep and like doing things ahead of time that will help to not slow you down during the first drafting process.
Right.
And some of them are more technical, like outlining and stuff like that. But the meal prep and also cleaning up your space, making sure that your space is like tidy and ready for you when you show up to write, I think is, like we're just talking about, it's way more inviting, it's more creatively inspiring, and it also saves you time because you shouldn't have to be spending your writing time cleaning things up.
Right. And it also just brings you to the actual craft faster because it becomes the path of least resistance. And it's kind of the thing we've talked about that Sean Aker talks about so well in the Happiness Advantage, right? Yes. That's the title. And he talks about making it whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, make it the easiest thing possible so that it's almost harder for you to not do that thing than it is for you to do that thing. So if you have your writing space looks gorgeous and it's all ready for you, you're going to gravitate towards, let's just sit down and write. Whereas if it's a big mess, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that right now. I'll do that later. Exactly. And it just pushes it out that much further.
Right.
So I think there's something to be said for keeping it simple, keeping it tidy. And as a minimalist, I'm all for don't bring too many things into your space. And that way you save a bunch of time right there because there's not that many things to tidy.
Yeah, very true. Very true. It's a good point.
But I think this gives you guys some good ideas to get started and get creative. Come up with your own ideas. This is kind of just a springboard foundation to get your mind going and thinking about, hey, how can I do a writing retreat right in my own home and start writing the book of my dreams or finishing the book of my dreams? So comment below on the YouTube version of this podcast and let us know, are you thinking about doing a writing retreat? What are some things you would add to this list? Because we would love to hear your ideas. We're always adding to our own writing routines as well. So we would love to hear your guys' thoughts.
Yeah. And be sure to check out Kate's giveaway and her new book, which is available for pre-order. So check that out again, Searching for Sparrow. It's an awesome, amazing book, and I can't wait for you guys to read it. And the paperback is beautiful, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, the beautiful interior when you guys get a hold of the paperback, or if you win the paperback that I'm holding right here, the interior is all designed by Abby. She did a fabulous job. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I love just leafing through it because it's
Me too. I'm so happy with how it came out.
Aesthetically beautiful. It's wonderful.
I'm so glad. Yeah, so check out that book, check out the giveaway, and make sure you hit the like button on this video if you're watching on YouTube. If not, head over to Kate's YouTube channel and check it out. Give us a nice rating on the other podcast platforms if you enjoy this podcast. And thank you again so much to our amazing sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate you guys so much. If you get value out of this show, go to patreon.com/The Kate and Abby Show and help us keep this show alive and free of interruptions. Until next week,
stay stoked
and rock on.